I was only 18 years old when I got married. In my family, daughters never say no to their parents. From the time we are small, we are told that a good daughter listens and obeys. So when my father looked at me and said, "It is time for you to get married," I smiled, even though my heart was heavy. I whispered, "If this makes you happy, then I will say yes." The wedding came and went. I wore the dress, I smiled for the pictures. I did everything that was expected of me. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, but inside my heart was empty. Many nights I sat by the window asking myself, is this really all there is to life? Just living for others? Just doing what they say? 2 years passed like this. Then one night, everything changed. My husband was driving the car. It was late and the road was dark and quiet. I was sitting by the window looking at the stars. Suddenly, the car shook. It turned sharply off the road. My husband had fallen asleep while driving. Before I could even scream, the car rolled down and crashed. The sound was so loud. Glass broke into pieces, metal twisted. My body was thrown forward and pain shot through me like fire. In that moment, my husband jumped out of the car and ran to save himself. I am glad he lived, but I was left trapped inside. People from nearby came running. They pulled me out quickly, but they didn't know how badly I was hurt. While they dragged me, my back broke even more. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a hospital bed. My right arm was broken, my wrist was broken, my shoulder and collarbone were broken. My ribs were broken too, but the biggest wound was on my spine. I stayed in the hospital for 2.5 months. Those days felt endless. Nights were the hardest. The room was silent except for the ticking clock and the beeping machines. I lay awake staring at the ceiling, asking, why me? Why am I still alive?
One morning, a doctor stood near my bed. He said gently, "I heard you loved painting, but I'm sorry, you will not be able to paint again." The next day, another doctor came. His voice was firm. "Your spine is badly injured. You will not be able to walk again." I closed my eyes. My lips trembled, but I whispered, "It's all right." On the third day, the doctor came once more. His words broke me completely. "Because of your injury, you will not be able to have children." That night, I pressed my face into the pillow and cried until I could not breathe. I thought, if I cannot walk, cannot paint, cannot be a mother, then why am I alive at all? But deep inside, a small voice told me not to stop. One evening, I called my brothers. My voice was weak, but I tried to sound strong. "I know my hand is not steady," I told them, "but I cannot look at these white walls anymore. Please bring me some colors and a canvas. I want to paint again." The next day, they came with paints and brushes. My hands shook as I picked up the brush. It felt heavy, but when I dipped it into bright color and made the first stroke, I felt a spark inside me. Stroke by stroke, I filled the canvas. The lines were not straight, but they were mine. People who passed by stopped to look. "So beautiful, so bright," they said. They saw colors, but they didn't see the tears running down my cheeks. They didn't feel the pain hidden in every stroke. That was the day I found my voice again. Without saying a single word, I told my story through my painting. And in that moment, I made a promise. From now on, I will live for myself, not to be perfect for others. I began to face my fears one by one. My first fear was divorce. I worried about what people would say, but I reminded myself, fear is only in my mind. It cannot control me. So, I let him go.
When I later heard that he had married again, I did not cry. I held my phone, typed a message, erased it, typed again, and finally sent. "I am happy for you. I wish you the best, and I truly meant it. My second fear was that I could not become a mother. This thought hurt the most, but then I reminded myself, a child is not only born from the body, a child is born from love. I decided I would adopt. I sent my name to many organizations. 2 years passed. Then, one morning, the phone rang. "There is a baby boy," the boy said. "Would you like to adopt him?" My heart leapt. Tears rolled down my face. Yes, yes, please bring him to me. When I held him in my arms for the first time, he was just 2 days old, so tiny, so soft, smelling of milk. He opened his little eyes, and in that instant, I became a mother. Life in a wheelchair is not easy. The hardest part is not the pain in my body. The hardest part is the way people look at me. In a world that loves perfection, it hurts to feel different. But I decided I will not hide. I painted more, I modeled for clothes, I hosted TV shows, I stood on stage and spoke about women, about children, about hope. Each time I was afraid, but each time I grew stronger. Slowly, people began to see me, not the chair, not the broken body, but me. And I learned something. When you accept yourself, the world begins to accept you. Motherhood changed me in ways I never expected. My son did not care about my wheelchair. He did not see my scars or my broken bones. He only saw my arms as home and my heart as safety. When he cried at night, I learned new ways to hold him. When he took his first steps, I clapped the loudest, even though I could not stand beside him. I taught him that strength does not live in legs. It lives in kindness. There were hard days, days when my body ached, days when society reminded me that I was different. Some people spoke to me slowly, as if my legs had taken my mind too. Some looked at my son with pity and asked, "Is it difficult for you to raise a child like this?" I smiled and answered softly, "No, it is an honor." As my son grew, my paintings began to travel beyond hospital walls. Galleries called. Schools invited me to speak. Women came to me with tears in their eyes and said, "I thought my life was over until I heard your story." That is when I understood something important. Pain does not disappear, but it can be transformed. Suffering can become purpose. I started an organization for women who felt trapped by fear, by tradition, by broken marriages, by broken bodies. I told them what I had learned the hard way. You are not weak because you bend. You are strong because you do not break. Sometimes, late at night, when my son sleeps beside me, I think of the girl I once was, the 18-year-old who smiled while her heart was heavy. I wish I could hold her hand and whisper, "Your life will not be easy, but it will be meaningful." I no longer ask, "Why me?" I ask, "What can I do with what I have been given?" This wheelchair did not end my life. It redirected it. It taught me patience, empathy, and courage. It taught me that happiness is not about having everything, but about loving what you have. If you are listening to my story today, and you feel lost, remember this. Your story is not over. Your pain is not the final chapter. As long as you are breathing, as long as your heart still hopes, you still have a reason to live, to dream, and to begin again. Today, when I look at my life, I no longer see what I lost. I see what I gained. I gained a voice when I was once silent. I gained courage when I was once afraid. I gained purpose from pain. My son is growing fast. Sometimes he holds my hand and says, "Ma, you are the strongest person I know." And in those moments, I know everything I went through had meaning. I taught him that life does not have to be perfect to be beautiful. I taught him that kindness matters more than success. And he taught me that love can heal wounds no medicine ever could. There are still days when I feel tired,
days when my body reminds me of the accident. But I no longer fight those days. I sit with them, breathe through them, and let them pass. Because I understand now, life is not about running, it is about continuing. I may never walk again, but I have traveled further than I ever imagined. Through fear, through loss, through love. If my story has taught me one final lesson, it is this. Do not measure your life by what society expects from you. Measure it by the peace in your heart. You are not useless because you are broken. You are not weak because you are different. You are not behind because your journey looks unfamiliar. You are alive, and that alone is powerful. So stand, or sit, or crawl if you must, but keep moving forward. Because even from the darkest moments, a beautiful life can still be created. We all make plans. We all think this is how my life will be, but life does not always listen. I never thought I would be in a wheelchair, but this is my life now, and I choose to make it beautiful. People often say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I say, make lemonade, drink it with a smile, and never blame life for being hard. It is okay to be afraid. It is okay to cry, but it is not okay to stop living. People say failure is not an option. I say failure should be an option, because when you fail, you learn, and when you rise again, you are stronger than before. So celebrate. Life, be thankful for every breath. Real happiness is in being grateful. As long as you are alive, live every moment fully.